I care about a lot of things, and I care about a lot of people, and that can be challenging. I know at least some of you know what I mean. Loving people is a great and wonderful thing, but there's a lot of pain out there, and it can be overwhelming. Julian of Norwich said, "And all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all matter of things shall be well." And I want to argue back. I can make good arguments, but I'm not going to share them with you. Today I want to talk about how she's right. And first, I have to note that she speaks in the future tense. She did not claim that all was well. She didn't dismiss the suffering of her day. Instead, she speaks of hope in the power of divine love. She speaks resurrection. She speaks of the kingdom that will come. And all shall be well. And all shall be well. And all matter of things shall be well. Now, I think Thomas is the disciple for the rest of us. I adore the guy. I love how brave he is to be the one who went out when the rest of the disciples locked themselves in. I figure he was the one gathering up supplies for everyone. I love how honest he is about his disbelief. I love how he is the stand-in for the rest of us who would also not see Jesus appear in the upper room. I love how when he comes across new information, he changes his mind. He said he wouldn't believe until he saw, and he believed. I love his devotion to Jesus and to Jesus's followers. I love his resilience in being dismissed over and over and over again in the history of Christianity and still having such power to help us. And of course, that I love that he, like the others, was blessed with peace. Because I always love that blessing. I love that Jesus appeared showering his grieving followers with blessed wholeness for each and all of you, because that's what peace meant. And I love that we greet each other with those words in worship to this day. So I love Thomas. And it turns out I love doubts because they're real. I love when Thomas just says, "I will not believe." And I love it when people say that to me too. I particularly love it when people name for me something that they think they're supposed to believe and don't, and when I'm able to say to them that I don't think they have to believe it after all. Most of the time, I end up saying I don't believe it either. I learned about the power of hearing that from a pastor when I was a teenager. I had come to have serious doubts about hell. It just didn't make any sense to me that a God who loves people would send anyone to hell. I didn't think God's love was that small or powerless. I made an attempt to talk to my own pastor about it, and he informed me that believing in hell was a requirement of Christianity or something. I don't really remember anything other than being told that I wasn't allowed to believe what I believed. I kept my mouth shut for quite some time afterward, but maybe a year and a half later, I'm guessing I was about 13, I was at camp and we were doing Bible study in the woods, and the topic seemed to come up, and I brought it up softly. Something like, "I'm not sure that I believe in hell." The pastor with us heard me and told me that I should trust myself and believe what I believed. He opened the door for me. And clearly I went ahead and walked all the way through it. I actually think my favorite part of this story is that pastor, who is still a mentor to me, doesn't remember it. It was just a normal part of his ministry to empower people and to affirm God's love, and it wasn't notable for him at the time. I'm not sure I would have stayed in Christianity without him. He doesn't even remember it. So I love doubts, and I love your doubts. In preparing for this second Sunday of Easter, I found myself wondering, what do we really doubt? And I mean we as a community, which might be different from any of us individually. And I don't know, but my best guess is that we doubt, and all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all matter of things shall be well. We doubt that for some good reasons, and those are okay. But we doubt it for some bad reasons too. I think we doubt it because the 24-hour news cycle fills up our hearts and minds with stories chosen by the principal. If it bleeds, it leads. I think we may doubt it because social media has no conscience. I think we may doubt it because human nature tends to spend more attention on the bad than the good, requiring 5 times as much good as bad for it to get the same amount of attention. I think we may doubt it because we've been trained in or brought into the scarcity mentality. I think we may doubt it because someone's, somewheres think that it is good for sales if we are hopeless and uncomfortable. And those people are good at marketing. It's a lot of pressure on us not to have hope. It's coming at us from all directions all the time. Dear ones, I would like us to build some resilience around ourselves so we can let hope be nurtured and grow in us. So I want to remind you of some things that are truly good news. Every day, people leave domestic violence, and some of them stay away and never experience it again. Every day, people get sober after a long experience with addiction, and some of them stay sober for the rest of their lives. Every day, people who have lived through trauma find ways to keep going, to share love, to heal, to make it through. And that means that trauma doesn't have the last word. Every day, science and medicine advance and make a fuller life possible for people who didn't have hope yesterday. Friends, the coal industry just had a terrible first quarter. And you know, those African American legislators in Tennessee, they got their seats back. And the white woman who protested with them named racism as the reason she wasn't kicked out, recentering them in the conversation. Loving relationships exist. And dear ones, spring comes every year, and the sun rises every morning and sets every night. There is plenty of hope to ground ourselves in. I don't think the world or God need any of us to feel more guilty, to be more overwhelmed, or to have more superficial knowledge of any more problems. I think the world and God need more people grounded in hope. So I want to ask you to pay attention to your lives. What drains your energy? What builds your energy up? Thank goodness we're all different, and that means the answers will be different. Otherwise, everyone would want to be a bus driver and no one an accountant. Friends, please, for the love of God, take your need to rebuild your energy seriously. Do things you love. It's a form of resilience. It's a form of nurturing hope. It is an act of faith. So let's get practical. What do I mean? Talk with people who you laugh with. Try new things that make you a little nervous. Notice flowers when you're out and about. If you are like me, take as much time as you possibly can to savor the silence and let it heal you from the inside out. And if you are nothing like me, go to a really loud concert and let it heal you from the inside out. Look for beauty. Pay attention to goodness. Give yourself a break. I think our doubts are likely related to doubting that we actually deserve good things, like stuff that restores us. But Jesus blessed all with comfort, hope, and peace, the peace that is a blessed wholeness for us and for all. We have doubts, all of us, right? That's okay. But may we nurture hope by letting God help us nurture our God-given energies for good, for peace, for hope, and all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all matters of things shall be well. Amen.